Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday at 2, and so today I'm going to show you the how to make a scrapbook page using a card kit. Today we're going to use the Summer Vibes card kit, and the Summer Vibes kit is really fun because it has these really incredible, I'm trying to fix my lighting, sorry, I've got shadows everywhere. It has this really cool stamp set with thin cuts, and I fell in love with these in the catalog, and I couldn't resist. They're so cute, little treats, little snow cones and ice cream and fudgesicles, popsicles, and a couple of little messages. And then you get the thin cuts for them too. Hi, Denise. So this set is really fun. This is the Summer Vibes card making workshop. Now, the problem with the card making workshop is that I am not a huge card maker. I don't like to have tons and tons of cards sitting around. I like to have just enough to last me through a season, kind of. And I've been sending out a couple of cards a week now for a while. And so that's great. But this card workshop makes 16 cards. This would be amazing for any kind of party or get together, or just if you wanted to send one to everybody in your family or whatever. But 16's a lot for me, but I wanted that stamp set and the thin cut, so I went ahead and bought it. So what you get in the kit is you get 16 card bases and envelopes, and you know, these are amazing quality, and you'll certainly have enough left over if you want to make a few cards. That's great. Next week I might show you guys some of the cool scrapbooking pages and cards that I have made out of this. The cards that you make are really fun, and they're really dimensional, and they highlight using watercolor to color in those images. I used markers for mine, but I just wanted you to know that this kind of graduated look that they're showing on the snow cones and the watermelon and the ice cream, those are all watercolors in this set. Okay, so you get the how-to sheet, how to cut each of your papers, and what accents you'll need, for what you'll need to cut out. And so you get that. You get paper, you get a couple of sheets of white, you get 3 different colors of cardstock. The orange base I'm using for my layout, you can kind of see it up in the corner of my page, so I have that up there. And then you get 3 sheets of this kind of all over pattern, and on the back is a water pattern, and notice that it's kind of graduated. So what I did was I took one of these sheets and I cut off a side panel, and then I cut a couple of long strips to use as a highlight on my page. So you'll see that in a minute. Sorry, I don't want to lose it. Okay, so we have quite a bit of cardstock and paper in here that you can use. I'm going to move these out of the way. The other thing I use, you can use your white cardstock as scrapbooking bases. I hate to waste it by using it on thin cuts necessarily, but you could use your card bases even if you wanted to. But I made a whole bunch of popsicles. I made a whole bunch of snow cones in different colors. I made ice cream. And you know, I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to make vanilla, but you know, because vanilla still has some color, but not a lot of color. It's really kind of off-white. So I just kind of did every other swirl in a real pale, almost a flesh tone. It really does look like vanilla. Okay, and so I made a bunch of those, different ice creams, and I'm just going to move that one in a minute. And I made some of them orange, some strawberry. These are all done with marker. And then the watermelon, kind of a similar thing. I just kind of cut those out. So why did I make so many? It's because I think it's kind of a pain to get out my die cutter and just to cut one thing when I want to make one project. I think it's a hassle. So when I'm cutting, I cut a whole lot. And I have a whole bunch more blanks that I'm going to shove in the envelope for the messages and stuff like that, because it's just too hard to deal with it later when I'm on the fly. Like if I really needed to make something fast, I want to be able to make it fast, and I like to have all of these together. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to show you about these is I did some work on them a little bit. You might notice that my popsicles are really shiny and they're dimensional, and I did that with liquid glass. Liquid glass is really fun. It kind of made my popsicles curl. I did not do it to my fudge-sicles though, because for some reason shiny fudge-sicles didn't make sense in my head. I don't know. But whenever you use liquid glass, basically it kind of comes out as a clear kind of gloop, and you just sort of smear it on and let it dry. If you get any kind of bubbles in it, sometimes if you huff on it, you know, it'll get the bubbles out. And sometimes I just have a toothpick that I kind of go through it, and then I just set it down and let it dry. So that's how I did those. The other thing I did was I made my snow cones shimmery. And you know, I love the shimmer pen. I use it on a lot of stuff. And so I have a brand new shimmer pen that I just got in the mail this week, and I just want to show you how to open this because it's tricky if you've never used one before. There's this yellow band in there that is just for travel. It is not to keep. And you'll notice this is hard and crunchy. It's not been used yet. So when you take this off, this cap is a pull-off push-on cap, not a screw-on cap, okay? But this part is a screw-off part. So unscrew it, take that yellow thing off, and that's garbage. There's really no reason to keep that. You might notice there's a little hole there, and there's a little like pin kind of thing in there, and they need to push together. So you screw this on, and you need to make this really tight, and that's so it doesn't leak here. And you'll see on the side right there, it says push. And if you start to push, you'll see it's coming down into the pen and onto the brush. And let me get a little scratch paper here. As it comes down into the brush, start shaking it. Can you hear it? The roller ball in it. It's shaking up the glitter. And then notice it's coming down into the pen. And then it's ready to use. And you can see it goes on really nice. And it's shimmery. So like if I wanted to put yellow shimmer on my yellow popsicle, I could do that. Isn't that cool? So each time I use it to get it ready, I just basically shake it up just to make sure the glitter is kind of up and moving. You don't squeeze it every time. Now, if I squeezed it now, it'll put more glop into the brush. And each time you use it, it should be more or less ready. And then be careful not to try to screw this cap on. It just snaps on. And if you pinch this hard and try to unscrew it, you could unscrew this part and make a big mess. So it's just an on-off cap. All right, enough of that. I know you guys are like, wee, that's great. Okay, so there's that. Now to make my page, I am using a white card base. I was using this one. I'm gonna move all the goodies to the side here. I don't know if you can still see them or not, but all right. So I'm going to use the white card base on one side, and I wanted to kind of make, these are the trim strips, these are the zip strips from that fun print, and basically this is the liquid glue I use. You were asking earlier, Denise. And I can use it super duper thin. You don't need to use a lot. And if you need to use a lot, the other side is a broader tip, and it's more of a, kind of reminds me of those rubber cement tips when you were a kid. Remember when we used to use rubber cement? Boy, that's a blast from the past. Anyway, I'm just gonna show you. So I just put the zip strip on the top. What I like about the liquid adhesive is it's a little forgiving. So like if you get something that's not quite right, you can lift it up, you can move it around a little bit, and it glues pretty quickly. So that's what I use. Now the other thing I'm gonna do to this page is I want to use a square. I want to cut a square out because what I want to do, my goal is to be able to put, you know, various treats down the side on each side. So you can tell these are not really small. These are approximately, you know, 1.5-ish wide. In order to leave 1.5 on each side of my paper, I need to trim this thing down. So I'm getting out my trimmer. I want you to see how I make this work without measuring, because I am sorry. Okay, so I have my paper trimmer here. I think you can see it in the window. Adhesive wise, I tend to use this mostly, which is an ATG, and I get the tape dirt cheap. It's like, I don't know, $1.80 a roll from Tape Jungle. I order a whole lot of it at once. If you go into Michael's or something and they have like, I want to say that it's around $4 a roll. It may even be closer to $5. So I like Tape Jungle. It's a little fussier than the Scotch brand, but I'm cheap and I'm willing to put up with the fussy. So that's what I use. I use liquid adhesive on all kinds of other things though. I use it on little stuff like this. If I'm not gonna pop dot it with tape, I would use liquid adhesive on this. This thing is just so big, it's clunky, I don't like it. So I use a lot of liquid adhesive. Sometimes I'll put the liquid adhesive in one of these little tiny bottles. It has a little teeny tiny pen, and you can get these all over the place. And then I put like a quilt needle pen, you know, into the end of it just so it won't jam up on me. I got this one at a retreat. Gosh, Stephanie, how many years ago did we first start using these? I think it was 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago. It's been a long time, but this is my original bottle. I've never had one jam up to the point where I had to throw it out, so I use that a lot. Okay, so we want this to be a 9-inch strip or a 9-inch square, so I'm just going to cut this 9. I'm going to take this off and put it aside, use it for something else. And this one is going to be 9 this way as well. When I don't use this trimmer a lot. I tend to use my chopper trimmer. I have like a big guillotine style trimmer. I really love it, but it's really nice for this particular thing. So for example, now normally I could just put that, you know, on my layout like that, and I have plenty of room for the fun treats on the side, right? But I want to show you how to cut a square out of the middle. I think I've shown you guys this before, maybe another way, but basically what I do is let's say I want this to be, you know, 2 inches on each side. I'll put the paper at the 2-inch mark. It's right here at the 2-inch mark. And then I go in 2 inches. This is a 9-inch square, so there's 8 and there's 7. So I just start at 7 and go up to 2. All right? And then I just turn it and do the same thing. So you're at the 2-inch mark. Here I'm starting at 2, going down to 7. Flip it up, turn it again. I'm at the 2-inch mark. I'm at the 7. Go up to 2. There's no like rhyme or reason to why I chose 2 inches. I just thought, oh, that'll show the pattern nice. I don't know. And if I hated it, I'd just trim it more, or I would leave the square in the middle. And when it's all done, you know, you have your loose square like that. You guys probably already knew how to do that. I'm gonna move that. But I just thought that was kind of a cool trick. So technically, I want to put it right side up. Okay, so technically I could just leave it like this. It's a little bland, right? Or I could leave the center in the inside, whichever, you know, you prefer. I have some fun, I just printed some fun pictures on my selfie of a trip that we took a few years ago to Jarlings. To us, like, summer starts when you go to Jarlings, and so I thought this would be a perfect layout for that. Here's my sister and my daughter. Sorry, I know, it's like watching someone else's slides or something. Too much. Okay, so the other thing I want to do, I am going to move this square down on my page because I'm not going to put anything really down on the bottom. And I want to show you on the website, there's a couple of thin cut alphabets, right? There's a block and a classic. And these alphabets are sort of like a secret, amazing, hidden gem, because they are bigger than you think and you can spell out titles like crazy. So for example, I just pulled a few letters. If you look on my page here, they are they're 1 and almost 3/4 inches tall and like 1 3/4 inches wide. That is a big letter. It comes with numbers, the punctuation. The only punctuation that the classic alphabet does not come with, that drives me crazy, is an exclamation point. So what I did is I cut it out twice. I cut it out once. I have a couple of them here to do with you. So I cut them out once in this pale kind of peach, and then I cut them out again in the smoothie. And basically I just use my liquid glue, and it does not take very much, and I just very lightly put a little bit on, and I kind of offset my letters a little bit. Okay, now this, I know I'm spelling the word treats, and this does not make any sense at all to you, but I don't have an exclamation point, so I use the I. I could use any letter that has a long, you know, a long thing on it. So I'm just gonna cut this. And I know, lame, right? It's not exactly perfect, but it's close. Okay, good enough. See, now I have. So this is going to be this, and then I'm going to use my little bitty piece that I trimmed off of that water paper. So I'm just going to real lightly, this is another really great use for the liquid glue, because you don't use very much of it, and you can move your strip around a little bit to make it straight and at the edges, where, you know, this tape guns and stuff like that are not forgiving. You put it on crooked, it's gonna be crooked. So I do like that. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this page. You might notice when you get pages from me that I have a lot of like corners I don't always put all the corners down and that kind of thing. You do not have to, you can just use glue or something, but I'm just not a big, as long as I know it's stuck and it's not gonna fall off, I don't worry about it. Anyway, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on here and make my title like that. I don't know if you need to watch me glue everything down, but this is kind of what I have in mind. Isn't it cute? Okay, just like that. And then the fun part is actually picking which, you know, treats that I want in different places up and down the whole thing. So you can play with that, especially if you make a whole bunch of these ahead of time. You can put them in certain colors or certain styles or whatever directions you like, and then you can put your pictures on it. Now, since I have those extra pieces of cardstock left over, I thought that would be great photo mats, or I could even, you know, like enlarge one of these pictures and make it a focus. I thought about something like this, you know, since there's so much, these are pictures that can certainly be cut down. I could just kind of do this kind of thing, right? So that is the page that I'm making here. And then of course I just very rarely ever make a single page without like a sister to it. I really like how this looks. The other thing that's really fun is to do swoops and things like that with a black marker or pen. Hold on a minute. Sorry, my dog is standing literally right under my feet. Okay, so like if you wanted to, you know, make swoops, swirls, and dots. And look at this. This is obviously nothing spectacular, right? That it's even a little shaky. I don't know. Maybe my blood sugar's low. But when you add your treats on to it, it'll look really cute. So that's an idea too. I know, that's one of my favorite all-time pictures of Steve, Margie. Isn't that weird? He doesn't, he just photographs well. He just does. All right, so there's that. The other thing I just wanted to point out to you is that, you know, last week I kind of showed you the Picture My Life cards, and there are so many of them that look really nice on this paper. See if I can pop some of these out. So like I could cut out another snow cone, or I could even use it like this. I mean, really, there's so many fun things that you could do with that, right? So I just wanted to let you know that there's a ton of stuff in here that would work. Okay, so there's that. Let's do page 2. So page 2, I basically, we're limited when we use the card kit. And no, those letters are the classic alphabet. Now, I want you to know that when you look up this classic alphabet, it is 90 bucks. 90 bucks, which is a lot, right? How many of us want to spend that kind of money on a thin cut? But you can, as a hostess, and you have a half off item, that's perfect because you get it half price and then it becomes a little more reasonable. So what I did, you know, for the whole sheet of paper, right, if you look at what I did here, I cut out this sheet of paper like this, and then I have the little piece over here. So when I chopped it, basically what I made these 4 by 6, so I just cut it down the middle by 6. This is for something later. These two I'm going to flip over. I can use those as picture bases, right? Like mats. And I cut down some of the smoothie cardstock. You could make more photo mats, like double mats. And then this 6-inch piece, if you just trim a smidge, like a 1/4-inch strip off the edge, see on the other side how it's that teal, you can put that like that, put that like that. You notice a lot of my pages have like a border like that. I'm gonna put this down, and you can choose if you want the light or the dark. I want the bold. And then here's some photo mats. Now, depending on my pictures, now you may have noticed a lot of my pictures are up and down, but you know, I do have a few that I could put on. The selfie has this, I have one of those selfie automatic picture printer things in my house. So I just printed these off this morning, and there's another picture of Jarlings, or me and my dorky sister. Anyway, and then the other thing I did was I want to make like a little collage. And you know, normally you have, when you buy the scrapbooking paper in general, you have the big sticker sheet. And in this case, you have the various components that you have created. And so I wanted to put some foam tape on the back, and I double foam tape this one. It's really thick because I want it to kind of stand out. So you can use any color of your goodies, and you can layer them. This one has a single foam tape, and just basically create sort of a collage effect or whatever. And you can use anything you want, because you know, you have basically made this pile of stuff to pick from, right? So maybe you want yellow instead of red. You know, you can play around with that and make that work for you. So this is the layout that I made, and then I want to be able to journal on the side. This card kit also comes with these really fun white acrylic hearts, and I think I will add a couple of acrylic hearts to this collage mix. You know, they're really fun. So I can just add a couple of those, and maybe even up in the corner. And then since I've been playing so much with these cards. I'll probably use one of them, you know, for journaling. So I can tack it up in the corner or down at the bottom or whatever. But I haven't decided what I'm going to use yet. This one looks really nice. And then I could, sometimes what I'll do, if I hate, like the water, for example, I don't go anywhere other than my swimming pool for water. And so sometimes I'll take this and I'll chop off the bottom. I can hear you guys over there going, what is she doing? Is she crazy? And I'll tuck it under a card like that, just to make like a little, just so I have the lines and have journaling spots. Hey Jody, check this out. Is that my sister or what? Jody's my cousin, and my sister, it's very hard to get her to take a straight up picture. She loves to make faces, so I have a lot of pictures of her with crazy faces. Anyway, that's it. So I'm just making that the one spread today, but I gotta tell you, I have a lot of stuff left over from this card kit. We have a lot of the shapes, a lot of the little doodads that I've made. There's a ton of paper left over. I have a couple sheets of this, more of the zip strips, a lot more cardstock. It'd be really easy to add even an extra page of white and get another 2-page spread out of this. So that's what I have today. If you guys have questions, let me know. Also, I just want to put in a plug for the Starbook. I added it as an event on our page for the 18th in the morning. It's a Saturday morning. It was hard to pick a date and time because people did not really tell me what they preferred, and I didn't know what to put. So Saturday morning worked for me, so that's what I did. And you do need a few things. It's nice to have either a liquid glue or a tape, a double-sided tape. You don't need a ton of it, but you need something super strong to adhere it. And then there's, I have some waxed thread and some needles for you that I would like to, if you're gonna participate, I'd be happy to mail to you or bring to you, so that you have those and you don't have to go hunting for those. They're a little bit harder to find. So definitely let me know if you're gonna participate in that, because I'll send you more information. Okay, there you go. Have a good afternoon, everybody.